you said in the beginning,
Yes.
the Jenny is true self.
Yes.
So I'd like to hear your own true words without what Buddha said, without what Sutra said, without what our master said. Now tell us.
My own true word. Refreshing. This water is refreshing.
Have some more.
No, I've had enough, thank you. I understand how much I need. That's it. That's my one true word. It seems mysterious, but it's not. Even a child gets that. When you asked me, I am drinking the water at that moment. That's refreshing. Cool and refreshing if you want two words. Very simple. Right now a car is passing outside. The fan is blowing. It's hot in here. That is not mysterious. Oh, I forgot the Chinese, Sino-Korean. 평상심도. Huh? 평상심시도. The water is refreshing. Very simple. It's interesting, Jesus had the same thing. His disciples would say to Jesus, why do you use these mysterious answers to us, these parables, these opaque explanations? And he's beautiful. He gave a beautiful answer. He said, you have eyes, but you don't see. You have ears, but you don't hear. So this seems mysterious. So that's my one true word. Drinking the water, refreshing. Okay? Good. 평상심시도. Very easy. Even a child can get it. I'm not making a joke about you, but even a child can get that. That's why Jesus said, if you want to enter the kingdom of heaven, become as a child again. Very simple mind. Simple mind. But we are attached to our thinking, explanation, concept. Well, some Cholstein said this. Well, I got this because Hyam Kunsin said, well, I read a book once. Well, what's the Dalai Lama said? We're attached to our thinking. That's not Buddhism. That has nothing to do with Buddhism. Nothing to do with Buddhism. Even if you're attached to Sumsansinim's thinking. That's not Buddhism. But when you ask me that, and that water is touching my tongue, shivanada. That's my one true truth. You know, I love, not this statue, the very beautiful statue we have in our Zen center in Regensburg, Germany. Big painting of the Buddha. It's a Tibetan painting, and the Buddha sitting like this. It says, 한국말로 이 자세하는 그 무드라 무슨 무드라예요? 죄송합니다. Anyway, he's touching the ground. This is the most revolutionary gesture in the history of spiritual iconography. I promise you. It is far more revolutionary as a symbol, as a teaching. It is far more revolutionary than anything I saw in 2 years of studying comparative religion, or what I saw in the Catholic Church. This gesture, we don't even know. We're Buddhists and we don't even know how revolution. This is the most amazing. I just want to cry every time I see this gesture. Hamma chokji il. In. Boom. What this means is, the Buddha, when he got enlightenment, he confirmed himself through his own experience. Yep. This baby is real. Everyone hears that. You're awake. You're awake. Man, woman, Korean, not Korean, educated, not educated, lazy, strong, whatever, stupid, progressive. Some Republicans might get it a little bit, but that's the only exception. You might have a problem with it. Everyone gets that. A dog is barking outside right now. And you go, no, it's not, Sneem. That's also that. Your own experience says, no, that's not. That's why this is such a liberation. The Buddha said, through my own experience, I confirm if this is true or not. Not because of a book, not because of a religion, not because of a tradition, not because Sneem said it, not because Sung Chol Sneem said it, not because Sung San Sneem said it, not because I have a PhD from Harvard, Yale, not because I wrote a best-selling book. Even if the Dalai Lama came in here and said, right now, a dog is barking outside, you could say, no, Your Holiness, there's no dog barking outside.
There is somewhere.
Huh?
There is somewhere.
Oh yeah, well then go listen to it. I'm talking about, I only know right here, right now. That's theoretical bullshit. I mean, it's a good try, but. Okay. And you don't know if the dog is barking somewhere, actually. You have no idea. In fact, you do not have 100% certainty that all the dogs were not killed right 5 minutes. You have no certainty right now where you are that you can bring to me. Your experience proves if it's only this, only this, only this, only Everyone can see this, what's in my cup. You can see this? Can you see that? Yeah, you see that? You can see what's in my cup, yeah? You can say, okay, well, you gotta stand up, dude. Okay, you see that? Even if 1 million people and Buddha himself said to me, you saw what that is, right? Even if 1 million people and the Buddha himself said, 현각스님, enjoy your orange juice, I would say, no thank you, Buddha. That's coffee. Right now, an airplane is flying overhead. That's not a bird. So this is the beauty of Buddhist teaching. This gesture is, I just want to cry when I think about it. What a liberation for humanity. Your experience confirms it. basically. It's a liberation. Even if Jesus himself tells me that's orange juice, I would say, no thank you, Jesus. You blind dog. That's coffee. Okay? So, any other questions? Yeah.
Why do you say get enlightenment?
Because I'm stupid. Because I'm stupid. It's like saying get air or get space. The space is already here. Get space. But we have to talk. This whole thing is stupid. This whole thing is stupid. Having to wear this is stupid. Having to have this is stupid. Having to have this is stupid. That's why John Lennon wrote the great song, imagine there's no possessions and no religion too. But human beings are stupid and do stupid things from this stupid, so we need stupid things to take away their stupid. But originally it's not. Birds don't need religion. Birds don't think about enlightenment. Dogs don't think about enlightenment. Cats never talk about enlightenment. But birds don't destroy the world. Cats don't make wars that bomb children. And doggies don't, I don't know, imprison migrant children at the border because of political beliefs. So that's why we need to talk about enlightenment. But you're right, we don't need to. It's like air. It's like space. You can't get space. Wait. Hold it, just a second. Wait. Special powers. Special powers. Special powers. Stupid. But what's more stupid than that is human suffering. That the smartest creature is also the most poisonous creature. So that's really stupid. The only creature that can go underwater and fly in the sky uses that intelligence to make bombs to blow up children while they're playing soccer in some dusty street with no food and no chance. That's even more stupid. So sometimes a little bit of stupid is okay. It's like homeopathy. Homeopathy, you ever try, the theory of homeopathy is you can cure people with a little bit of the disease if you give, it's like a virus. You know, vaccine is actually giving you the virus, but it's a little broken. The virus is a little broken, so if you inject this broken into the system, the body will be very strong, then the real disease cannot come in. So we use this enlightenment talk to, it's like a little broken virus chain we put into the blood. Have a little discussion. Maybe you'll practice. That's the point. Okay? Any other questions? Anything else? We got time here. Otherwise, I move this leg.
I'm just curious, did Buddha ever talk about reincarnations?
No, no. Except to disagree with it. He disagreed with reincarnation. The Buddha never taught reincarnation. He never taught reincarnation. It's impossible. It's incompatible with the Buddha's teachings. It's incompatible with the Buddha's teachings. The teaching of reincarnation. It's not the Buddha's teachings and it's not scientific. But he did talk about rebirth. he did talk about rebirth. He talked a lot about rebirth. And like everything that the Buddha talked about, there's a scientific basis for it. It's not a belief you have to believe. I can prove to you right now the teaching of rebirth. I can prove it to you. This is no joke or magic trick. I can prove to you rebirth. Ask me how. Rebirth. This is water, right? It's filling, this cup is full of water. No water, yeah. It's gone. The water is gone. The water's gone. The body is left, but the water is gone. It's gone. It's gone, right? Mm-mm. You come with me to the bathroom in 20 minutes. 35. It's scientific. This water did not disappear from the universe. It is gone from this cup, but it went somewhere. Which law is it? Which of Newton's laws? Gina, putting her on the spot today. Which law is it? Matter is neither created nor destroyed. Which law? Help me out, because I use this in Dharma talks all the time and I don't cite it correctly. It's the second law of thermodynamics? Come on. I heard she went to Harvard. She should have tried Yale. Next time, ask my advice. All matter is neither created nor destroyed. So it's gone, but it hasn't departed from the universe. You can't see it for a period, for a time, 35 minutes or an hour maybe. But if we go to the bathroom, it comes back again. Actually, it never left. It's just changing. And if you test that water with a pH strip in the toilet, you will find similar pH or whatever chemical was in this. And then from the toilet, it'll go from there and it'll go to the Passaic River or something like that. And 2 months later, maybe it'll be rain over Pennsylvania. And 6 months later, it will be snow over Alaska. Around and 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 around. In fact, this water, they put it in here a little while ago, but it wasn't just created today. It wasn't created today. This water was somewhere last year, 10 years ago. 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago. Yun Hui. Yun Hui. Love it. Scientific. So the Buddha never talked about reincarnation, because reincarnation is this thing, you die, and this thing comes back again as this thing. That there's a thingness to it. The Buddha said, nah, that's not true. Because that's not scientific. That doesn't hold up to observation. Breathing in, breathing out, that's Yun He. Oxygen in, O2 in, CO2 out. Still has O2. but a carbon chain has been attached. Then that CO2, plants love it. Make oxygen. Yun-He is scientific. Buddhism is scientific. So the Buddha didn't make a teaching about Yun-He. He just observed all phenomena, and saw, you know what? The principles that guide the laws or principles, whatever you want to say, the natural laws that speak about the movement of phenomena, our mind follows those laws. 2, we're not above the laws. Other religions teach that we are somehow above those laws. Or those of us who believe, I believe. Julia. Total bullshit. The Buddha just made observations based on the nature of reality and said that those observations, those principles about reality, our mind also follows those principles, that's all. So if you bad action, bad comes back. If I take a ball and I throw it hard against the wall, it bounces back hard. If I throw it moderately, it bounces back moderately. If I throw it lightly, it comes back lightly. That's Yun-He. It's just physics. That's why this is so incredible, this tradition. So amazing. So amazing. Okay, good. Does that help you?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
When we get the enlightenment, then we realize that who really we are and who are we. It's a right or energy or
Light or energy or consciousness or mind or the absolute or holiness or true self or true nature. Chamna, Jinna, Chamjongshin. It's all words. They're all words. This is space. Space. Gongan. Deuju. It's all just words. This doesn't have any word. This doesn't have any name. We call it that, but that word is not the way to do it. Practice. You find out yourself. Don't ask Song Cholsani. Don't read anything more by Song Cholsani. You'll just become confused and crazy. Don't. Seriously. It's old dead speech. But sit on your butt and do it, then you get that taste yourself. Don't try to take my taste. Not taking, and I appreciate your question. But that's like someone eating some food and saying, is that healthy? If I eat that food, will I get muscles? Why don't you eat the food? And you see your muscles or no muscles. Then you know. Anyway, Sung Cholsnim, Sung Sansanim, well, this Nim always says you'll get muscles. But we just want to talk about the food, talk about this. Well, Sung Cholsnim said, well, my grandmother, she went to Sung Cholsnim when he was at Hainsa. She did Samchambe, and then she, I remember one time, my teacher was, there's Chogesa, Jongnogu, Seoul Jongnogu, Chogesa has this Susunhae. Susunhae is this great Chamson Moim at Seoul Chogesa for maybe 50 years. All great teachers get invited to this, give talk. They have Dongango Hango, Kölche Bomun. So one time he was there giving a talk, and he liked to kind of poke people for not practicing. And poke us too. That's why we practiced. I don't like poke. Okay, I practiced. Then I remember, he was giving a Dharma talk, big seat, all the Shindo, Songchoge사, and then he had all his 외국 스님들 in front sitting there, and then all of the shindo. This was like 1993, 92, and he gave this talk. And in the talk, it was all Korean. I didn't understand. 한국말 할 줄 몰랐어요 그때. I didn't know the speech. But then I asked, he said something, and then all of them started laughing. And I said, what did he say? And he said, 우리 저기사 신도님도, I have to remember. 우리 저기사 신도님도 말이야. 이 방에서, 이 법당 가운데 몇 프로 진짜 공부하신지 나 몰라. 이 코큰 미국 놈들이 말이야. 이 코큰 미국 놈들이 이 코큰 미국 놈들이 불교돼서 아무도 모르니까 공부하는 게 밖에 없다. 근데 우리 신도님들이 아는 바 너무 많기 때문에 공부 안 해. 그거는 우리 한국 신도들 말이야. 불자님들이야. So as Buddha, we understand too much about Buddhism. We understand so much, so we don't practice. We read Bokjong Srim's book, some Cho Srim's book, some San Srim's book, but we don't practice. But that's not Buddhism. Reading books and understanding Buddhism, that's not Buddhism. That little part, that's a part of Buddhism. That's a little part of Buddhism. A part. We went to a restaurant today, a coffee shop. A great 현각스님 took us to a coffee shop today. And I eat very strange food nowadays. Well, for some years, I eat 지방만 먹어요. 내가 살 안 먹어요. 빵도 안 먹어요. 몇 년간 성방 있을 때도 난 밥 안 먹어요. 그냥 반찬 국 비벼서 쳐먹으면은 끝. So we were in the restaurant today, but I had bought this 맛있는 원적사 오게 되면은 그냥 나 고집 그냥 내놓아야지. So I had bought very good pop, very good 된장찌개. So really good. Did I say that already? No. Very good. 된장찌개 here is number one. 원적사. Really 사찰 음식 그대로. 고찰 음식 그대로. 고찰 맛. But I ate rice today, but I didn't eat much, and I need fat. 나 지방 먹어야지. 깨끗한 지방. So we go to this coffee shop. I'm not thinking food. I'm only thinking coffee. But I open menu, and coffee. Omelet with tzatziki and something, and I see fat. So I order that and double espresso, then give menu back. When the food comes, you must eat the food. Don't keep studying the menu. Even if you study this menu for 10,000 years, it cannot help you here. It can't. It can't help you here. A starving person is not helped by 10,000 pictures of bananas. One bite, better than 10,000 pictures. So if you go to a restaurant and they ordered a steak and mashed potatoes and butter and all the asparagus, and if they have the menu and they're eating and they're looking at the menu, you think, crazy. That's crazy. We are all like that. So no more Buddhist books. Enough. No more Buddhist books. Do it. One time, do it. I heard one shindo here at home, maybe at Dallas Bohyunsa, one bubuga, every day bowing. In their house. In their house. 절, 108배, 1000배, 3000배도. 아니면 연봉. 한국 불자. 자기 집에서. That's correct Buddhism. That's correct Buddhism. So come to temple, support the temple, help the temple, do it. But if you only come to the temple and socialize, only come to the temple and talk about Buddhism, that's not Buddhism. The Buddha never told us to do that. That's not what we do. Practice. Practice makes your belly full. Okay? So don't ask what my enlightenment is. You find yours. Then you don't have to ask Buddha, you don't have to ask God. I never ask Buddha what is enlightenment. I never ask about Sungsansanim enlightenment. I find my taste, then that changed my life. 1992. 그때부터 난 아무 물어보지 않아요. 네?
That means that enlightenment is a taste different everybody. Then it's not.
Right now, enlightenment tastes like coffee.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yes.
How about you come and have a taste, then you
Thank you
understand
so
my
much.
enlightenment. It's not difficult. Even a child understands it. Jesus said that. Even a child gets it. Any other questions? Anything else?
I'm sitting too long, so my leg is hurting.
Me too, same.
How about your leg?
My leg, that's why I'm moving it up like this. My leg is hurting, yes. Yes. Thank you. That's Ishin Janshimida. When she was at Murashigi, just before when she take the microphone, I already lift my leg up. My leg hurts. Already, you saw that. We check on this film. That's it. Ishin Janshin. 어려운 일이 아니야. Any other questions? Anything? Yeah. In front here.
I was just wondering if you've had any other teachers, if you've practiced in any other traditions. And my other question is how you're feeling about the transmission of Zen in the world today.
Okay. Yeah, I've had different sorts of teachers. Right now, you are my teacher. Really. Seriously, right now, this situation is my teacher, let's say. It's not a trick or cute kind of phrase. Right now, this situation is my teacher. Right now, this pain is my teacher. Oh, if I keep this, it will be tomorrow. Okay, so in terms of Buddhist sort of, human personality teachers, I've had several support. I have one root teacher. My root teacher is Shakyamuni Buddha. And then my physical teacher in this world, my Unsasanim, my monk ordination, and my, I wouldn't say guru, but my living human teacher was Sungsansanim. And I had several other monks actually many different monks and nuns who were great teachers for me. In Korea and in Japan, one teacher, Harada Roshi at Sogenji Temple. And it's really important with your practice to keep your practice wide, but function very strongly in one point at the same time. Not be limited by this point, but also not be wandering around picking, shopping, teacher, this little teacher there. And the transmission of Zen in this world, well, it's interesting. It's like anything. There's parts of it that you wish could be done a little bit better. But I think Zen does a really honest job of, well, what can we say? There's Zen kitchens, there's Zen barbecue, there's Zen beauty. If you Google Zen coffee, so what is the transmission of Zen? In some ways, it's a word that, it's like water. It's a word, it's a quantity that people can use any way they like, in a way. But in terms of the authentic Zen tradition, certainly the way it's transmitted, I can only speak to what I do, and I try to do my best job to transmit it to my students as faithfully as I can, and I make lots and lots of mistakes, terrible mistakes. And so the only thing you can do is just come back. You just come back to the center, you just come back. I'm making mistakes all the time. I'm always apologizing to my students for my mistakes, and just come back, just come back. I'm not a guru or anything like that, and I don't want to be. I never want to be. But you try, and And so you have to continue to practice. I have to continue to practice. So I wake up every day with my students at 4 o'clock every single day, 365 days a year, and do the bowing, and do the chanting, and do the sitting, in silence, total mugon, absolute silence every day of the year, and silent breakfast, silent eating. Although I don't eat breakfast, they eat, and I sit there with them. That's all I can do. I do the best I can do, and make mistakes. Any other questions? Anything else? Yes, sir.
Can I ask you, was there any point you feel like you were like a dog in front of the Starbucks?
Sure.
Sean?
Sure.
If I continue my question, when you were in Korea,
Yes.
because of this kind of, I have to watch my mouth, but the macho style or military style
Oh,
Zen culture
yes.
makes you feel like you're like a dog?
Yes.
Because of the-
Yes. Sure. Sure. One of the problems is that the military, all of the Western monks and nuns, if I have to say nuns too, the Western practitioners, I say, who practice in Korea, we come up against, we meet the military culture, and we have a struggle with it. And the Confucianism. It's a hard struggle with the Confucianism. That's why I left the country.
Right.
One of the reasons.
I always wonder how come your one of your great teachers, Seungsan S님, was how come he was born there, he was raised in the same culture,
Mm.
but how come we don't really notice any military?
In him,
That's what I'm asking you.
he was real military. Oh my Buddha. He was a captain in the military during the Korean War. Daewoo. And he was Pyongyang Chunseong. He was from Pyongyang. He was from Pyongyang, and he got to be captain in the military. That's a serious military mind. Because he was smart. He went to college and he was enlightened. So he had a big, super big mind and ability. So, yeah, he was military. Make straight. If your fork or your chopsticks were make straight. Cushions, make straight, make straight, make straight, make straight, make straight. You know, in Konglish, he was speaking. Make straight. The man, military. He was military. That was my first taste of a military person. Was his style. But it was very good because American people, we have too much freedom, too much individuality. My space, my freedom, my. So this wasn't just military, but some kind of this military coloring, very good medicine for me. Very good support. He wasn't too much. He was Buddha, he was enlightened Buddha. So he had military qualities, but he wasn't attached to it. He was very open. Super open. But that was his bias a little bit. But he was very open and very big mind. Super big mind. So, yeah. But he used his military mind. It was a very famous story during the Korean War. He was before he became captain, he was a low-ranking soldier, and one of his jobs was he had to drive some colonel or someone to a meeting at an American base in Korea. So one day, maybe every day, I don't know, but one day he had to drive this colonel to the base. And he got to the base, and he pulled up, and he went into the tent where they were going to have the meeting. And he told this story, and he gets into the tent, and the American soldiers are sitting there, and some of them are smoking, they have their legs up like this, they have their legs back like this, they're smoking, and he sees not generals, he sees like officers and private, all mixed together, talking like friends. And he went, oh my God, this is total chaos. You have high-ranking people and low-ranking people mixing together, and they're like talking like friends. We will never be able to succeed together. This is crazy. How could they do, what kind of military is that? But then, when the meeting, when 2 o'clock started, high-ranking person was here, next ranking person was there, next was here. Then he saw, aha, they have form, but they're not attached to the form. So, when the form is necessary, use the form. When the form is not necessary, let go of the form. So you saw this, we would say maybe yudori. Yungtongso. So he saw that. He saw that. He saw that. Then, boom, he got some, so he was military, but he got that. So when he came to America, he saw, oh, America's situation. He saw this America situation. Then in the temple, he made, okay. If none, you know, in Asian culture, none is always lower. That's not Buddha, that's so much, that's more a cultural thing. Then he came to America, he saw, that won't work here. So if a nun, if a bhikkhuni is even one day more ordination than me, earlier than me, boom, she sits above me. She goes in before me. He didn't like make that like, that was just naturally his dharma. Naturally. So in our tradition, if a nun is older than me, I bow to her. That's correct. Yudori. But real dharma yudori, yungtongso. Okay?
Okay. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I like that too. It's very nice. And the Buddha did the same thing. You know, the Buddha made our Dharma age, when you become monk or nun, that time it was revolution. You know, they try, how many times, 몇 번 저희 부처님을 죽이기로 했어, 사람들이? 7번? 9번. I always, 환각. 7번. 학상, 피상. 7번. 7 times, people tried to kill the Buddha. 7 times. And we know, people killed Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi was killed by Hindu nationalists. Okay? Martin Luther King was killed by fellow Christian. Jesus was killed by Romans and Jews working together. His own people, let's say, but the Romans did the, you know. So also the Buddha, many people said, you are making big mistake. Because Brahmin people, this caste system, caste in 한국말로 is, caste system. That was not like human idea. Hindu people believe that order came from the gods. Brahmin, Kshatriya, Brahmin, Kshatriya, then Sudra, untouchable. So that order was not something you can change with a law in the Congress. That was from the gods. They believed that. They still, it is. That came from the gods, the caste system. Then the Buddha said, all creatures have the same Buddha nature. All creatures, yeah? If I pinch you, if I pinch a dog, all creatures have the same Buddha nature. The Buddha saw that. So, when he made his revolution, his new revolution, now it's called Buddhism, but when he made his revolution, Well, you have to have order. Yeah, someone coming, someone going, some situation, ceremony, someone gets something. So he made this revolution, and his revolution was, okay, anyone, our order, if we make order, whoever comes first is higher. Next person, higher. Next person, higher. Next person, higher. So, Dharma age. Your Dharma age as a monk or nun. Later. I talk about nuns later. He made that rule. And some conservative Hindus want to kill him. Because Brahmin, they were like gods. Brahmin was like gods. Now these untouchables, they were considered in Hindu thinking like animal. But in this new revolution he made, even a Brahmin, underneath untouchable? Oh my Buddha. This is impossible to imagine. What a strong, that was complete revolution. He took their whole system and he just threw it out. It's impossible to conceive of. That was serious business. That was really, really, really bad. Hindu. Just like Jesus, hanging around with prostitutes, and tax collectors, and dirty people, loving them, helping them. The real rabbis said, you are not a correct rabbi. You're not a good rabbi. You are teaching your students badly. So we understand the result. So that's why the Buddha, 7 times people tried to assassinate him. Because he was a wrong Hindu, a wrong teacher. So when my teacher came to America, this is not hard. Yeah? If a nun is ordained 1 day before me, I go in after her. Yeah, that's already that's already Western culture. Same. In Regensburg, when we have Baru Kongyan in the temple, I get up and I serve bak to my students. Why? Because in Western culture, our model is Jesus washing the feet of his disciples. That's the operating system here. 그러니까 그냥 앉아서 대접받는 것만 있으면은 쫓겨난다. Water, when it's in a sagak moyang, becomes sagak. When it's in a square glass, becomes square. Round glass becomes round. Same. So he had this army mind, to answer your question, had this army mind, but he wasn't attached to it. Plus, he saw from his army experience when he saw American soldiers, he saw, oh, interesting. They're like not attached to form, but when form is necessary, form. But when form not necessary, no form. And that's this Yun Tong Song interlude. Okay, so any more questions? One more? Yes, one more. He was waiting. 기다리고 계셨어요.
Hi. Hi, my name is Sean Kim.
Yeah.
My research is future Buddhism, Korean Buddhism.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question about, I just really want to hear about your thought, your opinion about it. Right. Do you think that in the future, maybe the Buddhist priest, like monk, could it be replaced by AI? I mean, artificial intelligence or robot? I think it's a very serious question. Or because a robot doesn't have a soul, or they have any spirituality. So could we can make like artificial spirituality. So what's your prediction or what you're worried about?
That's an interesting question. Someone came to me about a year ago, young guy, smart guy. He works with AI, and he wants to develop the ability for AI to help us get enlightenment. Because of machine learning, somehow his idea is we would attach electrodes measuring brain waves. We would find the optimum brain waves of a kind of enlightened state. You know, these theta, I guess it's theta. Theta, Gina, theta is the optimum brainwave state.
Nothing about brainwaves.
Okay. Next life you try Yale, okay? I'm putting you on the spot. Of course you don't know about brainwave. That's super, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry for that. That's a bad joke. But I want someone to confirm, because I say theta sometimes, and I say beta, and then I find out later I'm wrong, and I can't remember. I think it's theta. This very relaxed. So he wants to find out a machine learning tool that can, you know, measure our brain waves and then give us feedback to help us get into the theta wave condition, whatever it is. Theta, beta, alpha, I don't know. I don't think that's real enlightenment. I don't think it's real enlightenment. I don't think it's true enlightenment. If it does happen. Coffee dough? Oh, that's water? Huh?
It's in a Harvard mug.
It's in a brown mug. I have to test myself.
No, Harvard mug.
Oh yeah! Yeah! 와, 짱이다! 나도 또 하버드 다니는데. 와, 박수 됐어. So, yeah, I mean, it's like this. It's like this. Computers can kind of taste, yeah? Computers can detect salt taste, yeah? There's little machines that can detect salt taste, yeah? But it's not the same as you detecting salt taste yourself. It's not the same. So you can have a machine detect if this is salty and what kind of reading of salt, 3.6. This is a density of 3.6 granules per microdensity. You can get that reading on a little meter, but that's not the same as this experience of salt. Okay, so AI, can it help us do that? Well, I guess so, but it won't be the same as your direct experience. That's my feeling.
Thank you.
Yeah, and anyway, it'll just make us lazy. Real enlightenment is it's kyansum, kyan, bol kyancha, seeing your nature. Enlightenment is not some software download. It's not some software program of experience, like taking LSD or taking mushrooms. That's a kind of enlightenment. Ayahuasca, if you try ayahuasca, you can't say you're Korean. Ayahuasca, if you tried ayahuasca, it's a kind of enlightenment, ayahuasca. You know what ayahuasca is, yeah? Yeah? It's a kind of enlightenment. LSD is a kind of enlightenment. Magic mushrooms, yeah? Legalized in Denver recently. Very good, also. It's a kind of enlightenment. Not bad. It's a kind of enlightenment, but it's not true seeing into your nature. And truly having that experience without mushrooms, that's enlightenment. But maybe some people have a little experience from mushrooms or from LSD or from ayahuasca, something. If they don't stop there, if they get it themselves, then that ayahuasca or LSD or mushrooms is okay. Yeah. very important experience, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Good question. Yeah, any other questions? And we have this hall, one more.
Yes, sir. It's going to be very short. And thank you for your teaching today.
Yeah.
Do you have any YouTube channel or are you planning to have any?
Yeah, there's stuff on YouTube and some of it's okay. Most of it is kind of, I don't know. Yes. It's called Cloud Path 108. You just Google it, Cloud Path 108. But yeah, I mean, it's okay, but it's like looking at a menu. You know, eat the food. If you eat the food, that's better than my videos. Better than this speech. Really. So sit a retreat. Come to Regensburg. Sit. Give yourself 1 week. 1 week. A couple times. 1 or 2 times. This is not something, you don't understand kimchi from a description. First time I ever ate kimchi, the first time I ever ate kimchi, and I brought it home to my family in New Jersey. I guess this is the last talk, because the circle is coming back to New Jersey again. First time I ate kimchi was in Cambridge Zen Center. And I was, wow, so shocked. This taste, so shocking. Wow. It's cold, but it's hot. We say spicy. Mepta is we say hot, you know. It's cold, it was in the refrigerator. It's cold, but it's hot. It's crunchy, but it's wet. Salty, but it's salty. All of these qualities, such an interesting, and garlic and sengang and all of that. I was very excited. I brought some home to my family in New Jersey. I brought a jar home to my family in New Jersey. And I said, oh, this is really wonderful. This is like, it's cold, but it's hot. But it's wet, it's in this water, but it's crunchy. It's salty, but it's salty. But it's a different kind. And it's looks like tomato sauce, but it's not tomato sauce. Be careful. Tastes great going in, be careful coming out. 미안합니다. Then I opened it up, and I took hanchok and gave it to my brother, and he went. Oh. That experience was better, more complete than all of my description. And so that's my point to you. I'm not trying to make a clever speech for you, but do it. If you practice Buddhism, if you practice meditation, it's so much more helpful for your life than understanding it. No more Songchol-snim books, okay? Bokjong-snim is okay. No, not so much. Susan-snim, no, thank you. Enough, already you had enough. Enough, it's enough menu. Now do it. So come here, Samchanbe, holiday, Samchanbe, Bekpabe, Jungjin, Chamsa, Kido. Do it. Then there's some benefit. Watching videos about yoga or doing yoga, 2 different things. Okay? So try that. Okay? Good. So thank you everyone for your patience and spending this time together today. I'm very happy to have this dialogue with all of you. And thank you for supporting this temple here in New Jersey. A temple is not a social place. A temple is not a place where we come and check each other out and evaluate each other and criticize each other and do all of the things that human beings do that separate us. It's very important. If a temple does not have practice, it's not really a temple. So just come and practice. and leave all the social stuff somewhere else. Then you get some benefit. Bulbop Sung means Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Okay, without that, there's no Buddhism. Okay, so thank you everyone for your practice, and you're welcome anytime you come to Germany.